There's an interesting court case coming out of Washington State, this is. Scantily clad baristas entitled to serve coffee, judge rules. So this is in RT America. I must be, acting as Putin's puppet by covering this story. U.S. District Court Judge Marcia Petcham sided with the baristas. She said the town's rules are likely void for vagueness under the 14th Amendment, and the rules are arbitrary. And she also ruled that they have a First Amendment right to determine the dress code at their business. Now, what this is it's a place where you go and you get some coffee, but the women are wearing whatever, like lingerie or things that are revealing. And people in the town tried to say, no, you're not going to let you do that. And they wrote these vague laws to try to, work around it. But the judge is saying, hey, 14th Amendment and First Amendment, you have First Amendment right to determine the dress code at your business, so it is what it is. And, I tend to agree with the judge. It's one of those things where why should the government have the ability to say, if you're setting up your business and the whole point of the business is to be like that, it's almost like Hooters, and you might not think you might think it's not classy, and that could be true. But if fucking strip clubs can legally exist, which they can, and Hooters exists, it does, well then how can you say, oh, we're going to not allow you to have a place where people serve coffee in there scantily clad? I don't see how anybody could make that argument. But then again, on these issues, I'm heavily libertarian, where I think gambling should be legal. I think prostitution should be legal. I think drugs should be legal, taxed, and regulated. And by the way, I think that should be allowed as well. So if they want to regulate these businesses, well, of course, every business is regulated. And if you want to have certain rules, that's fine. I mean, there's some strip clubs, for example, where they don't show certain things. Like, oh, it's only topless. It's not bottomless. That's what that town decided by law. Some of them were the fucking nipple pasty thingies. Whatever. I mean, if the town decides that, I guess so. And there's also zoning laws, too. Like, you can't have, hey, there's an elementary school, and right next to it, there's the strip club. They don't have that. They don't have that. And that makes sense. You can regulate it, but as a general rule, regulation of something is better than banning of something. And that's across the board. Even for things like guns, for example. That's across the board. So I think the judge made the right decision in this case. And if they want to regulate the baristas, as they call them, well, they could do that, but you can't just try to write a vague law to totally ban them.